Well, here we are. It has been an interesting Sunday, to say the least. Um, One that I'm not necessarily thrilled with. I think that, you know, um, yeah, I guess we'll just start with where am I at? How do I feel about this team after 3 weeks? Right? I think, you know, 21-16 loss, another one score loss. Every Bears game so far this year has been a one score game. And it's this one hurts. This one I think hurts more than the week 2 loss against Houston. I think. Um I just don't know what it is with this team. Like, all offseason we're hearing about the weapons and we're bringing in all these new guys and we're bringing in Shane Waldron who is the savior, and he turned Geno Smith into a Pro Bowl quarterback and a top quarterback in the league. And it's like, why do I feel like I'm where I was a year ago watching this team? I want to know why do I have an offensive coordinator that is so addicted to throwing screens? Why do I have an offensive coordinator that tries to get cute? Why do I have an offensive coordinator that calls 4 straight runs from the shotgun on first and goal? You know, and then on 4th and goal, we're running out of the shotgun again to our speed back, DeAndre Swift, and we're losing 12 yards. It's like, that's where I'm at right now with this team, right? Like, I'm really frustrated today with Shane Waldron. And I was pissed with him last week, and I'm like pissed at him again today. It's like, here we go again. Like, we can't move the ball. We can't do anything. And excuse me. It's just like all off season, I'm getting excited because we're bringing in, we're drafting Rome Odunze with the 9th pick, and we obviously have the first overall pick at quarterback, who's this generational talent, and we have a top 5 tight end in the league, and we have a top 10 receiver in the league in DJ Moore, and um, Keenan Allen obviously has been hurt, so he didn't play last week or today. Um, so there's that, but then there's Gerald Everett, and we have DeAndre Swift, and we have Khalil Herbert, who teams have tried to trade for, and we have Roschon Johnson. And at least today we saw some Roschon Johnson, and would you believe it, he was effective, and he was our rushing leader today. 8 carries of 30 yards, and it's like, okay, so today we took some steps in the correct direction, but then we're also just shooting ourselves in the foot like we always do with stupid end around calls and stupid bubble screens, and we're running out of the shotgun when it's first and goal from 2, and it's like all these weapons, yet we're handcuffed by the offensive coordinator. And so if you ask me where I am now, 3 weeks in, with this 1-2 Bears team, I would say this current moment where I'm emotional about the loss, I don't take these Bears losses very well. I would say My concerns about Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze are completely gone. I think that Caleb obviously played his best game of the year today. I think that Rome obviously had his breakout game today. Right, like Caleb threw for 363 yards. And yes, you know, 50, 60 yards of those were on the Hail Mary at the end of the half. But 363 yards, that's the new Bears rookie quarterback passing record. It's the most in a game since Brian Hoyer threw for 397 games in 2016. So 8 years ago. And the kid threw 52 times today. And like this was his best game as a pro so far. So my concerns with him are gone. I haven't had really concerns with him. I think that what we're seeing here from a rookie quarterback who has now played three games is I think we're seeing elite quarterback play. Like this kid has it. He has it mentally, and he has it. Obviously, we know he has it physically. But the way that he can see things pre-snap, the way that he can throw these passes, yes, he missed some deep passes again today, and those are ones that need to be hit. But you know, the the accuracy is not something that concerns me because that's something that can obviously be worked on, and it's something that will improve when he works more with the receivers and gets more time with the team, and he doesn't have to think as much like that. Like the game will slow down and the accuracy will come back, right? But what we're seeing on these deep throws that he's missing is overthrows. I don't know if he's afraid of getting picked, so he's overthrowing, but he clearly doesn't want to underthrow the ball. So like that's something that doesn't concern me because that can be fixed, that can be worked on. It's not like he's throwing interceptions because of like accuracy problems like we saw Anthony Richardson to do today. It's not, picks because he's just not seeing guys on the field, right? Like we've seen many quarterbacks here play in Chicago who have made some really horrible picks, right? Guys right in their face, to try and throw over the middle, and there's a linebacker just sitting there and they just throw right to him, so on and so forth, right? We're not seeing that with Caleb. The one pick that was rough today was the one where he was late on the out route. And that's a rookie mistake. You can't be late on an out route. But that's something that can be fixed. That's something that can be improved. And, I trust Caleb to know that that's not going to happen again. That's the type of pick where like, okay, you're late on an out route once, that's never going to happen again, right? Like if he's late to that read, he now knows that he can't do that. It's going to get picked, and so he's not even like if he's late to the out route moving forward, he's not even going to look at that route anymore. He's going to just check it off. And I think he was staring that one down a little bit too, but like I'm not concerned at all with him. Through the first 2 weeks, I was concerned a little bit with Rome because of um seemingly like some communication issues, maybe like some route confusion or whatever. And, I wasn't really thrilled with how he was being utilized within the offense. But today really kind of seemed like it was the get right game with him. It was the breakout game. And he, had 112 yards, 6 catches, had, caught his first touchdown pass. And, he was targeted 11 times. So I thought that aspect of the game plan was good. Like, I think that this kid has the chance to be one of the best receivers in the league. I think he has the build to be one of the best receivers in the league. He's got the talent. He can make the contested catches. He can make the vertical catches. He can make the underneath. You just need to get the ball in his hand. We weren't seeing that through the first 2 weeks, but today we saw it, and look, good things happen. Wow, how crazy is that? How crazy is that we're getting the ball to our playmakers, and they're actually making plays, right? It's like they just try and force things, and it just, Shane Waldron seems like he's got some sort of like fascination with running DeAndre Swift up the middle. That's not like we have better running backs on the team to do that with, right? Swift is where we want to be running the counters to the outside, the stretch plays, the tosses, the screen to him, right? Running him up the gut, like our interior offensive line is not good. Like they've struggled all year. Granted, they looked better today. I thought Matt Pryor did a pretty solid job. But the interior of the line has struggled to run block all year long. Stop running Swift up the middle. Like we have to be able to adapt in the game and change the way that we're doing things. And that's what concerns me the most about Shane Waldron is he's not adapting. He's not changing the way things are getting done. And he will just force and force and force. And I said it in my Bears Texans breakdown video last week. It's like ego play calling. He just will refuse to accept that what he's doing is not working, and he will continue to do it. Like if we're gonna run it up the middle, you give it to Roshan Johnson, you give it to Khalil Herbert, right? Like we have guys to do that, and I find it just so strange that Khalil Herbert is now running back 4, maybe even running back 5, right? If you want to count Velus Jones, who's gotten some carries, like if we're not going to use Herbert, why don't we trade him and get draft picks, get depth, get something, right? So it's just like the personnel decisions are very, very weird. The fumble that Caleb took today was not his fault. We have Cole Kmet lined up 1-on-1 against Laiatu Latu. Like that's the type of stuff that really pisses me off. And it's like those are problems that shouldn't be happening. Those things should not be happening. We should not have our tight end trying to block an edge rusher 1-on-1. Like, in what world is that acceptable? It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Play calling is disgusting. And despite all that, with how elite the defense has played this year, the Bears were in this game until the very end. And I think that's what frustrates me so much is because this team clearly has the talent to be 3-0 through these 3 games. And yet we're sitting at 1-2 because our coaching staff can't get out of the way. Like it was like the team, they were so surprised that they scored a touchdown when Caleb threw the first touchdown to Rome that the coaching staff, half the coaching staff is holding up, we're going for 1, and Eberflus is saying we're going for 2, and they have to blow a timeout because they can't figure out that they're down 5 and they need to go for 2 so that it could be a 1-score game. It's like, don't we know that if we score here, we're going for 2? Like, why are we wasting timeouts? And then that comes back to bite them at the end of the game. And it's like, it's just one of those days where they were so close to just dominating the game, controlling the game. You know, if the Hail Mary's caught and we get 1 extra yard, there's a touchdown. If we can get 2 yards on 4 attempts, there's a touchdown. And yet we can't. And that's the stuff that's just so frustrating. It's just so obnoxious to sit and watch. It's so annoying to sit here and watch this team beat themselves every week because they've done it for years. I've watched them do it for years. It's like this. It's the exact same thing. It drives me nuts. And I don't know. I don't know. Like they're close. They're close, right? But these are games that they should be winning against teams that are, you know, I think Indy is a bad team, right? I think that Anthony Richardson has looked really rough this year. And yet they win. They win. Because what did they do in the second half? After Anthony Richardson came out and threw that interception on the first play of the second half, he had the ball taken out of his hands pretty much. They just started spamming the ball with Jonathan Taylor, and um, that's it. They're like, okay, the passing game's not working today. We're gonna just run the ball, and they hadn't really run the ball well, up to that point. But they said, you know what, we're gonna do this. We're gonna stick to it, and we're gonna make it work. And you're not gonna throw any more picks, and that's how they won the game. And then it's like you look at the stats now, like this is what really pisses me off. Last week, you're playing against a Houston team with a really bad, like not a really bad secondary, but one of the weaker secondaries in the league, and they tried to run the ball a ton, and Caleb didn't have a ton of passes, and that was their game plan. And then this week, they're playing against the worst rushing defense in the league. They've given up 247 yards on average a game rushing. And then the game plan is to drop Caleb back 52 times. And it's like, what are we doing? Does this coaching staff know what's going on? Do they know anything? And it sucks because Eberflus is doing what he was brought in to do, which was to obviously be the head coach, I get it, but to come in here and have an elite defense, a championship level defense. And they have that. But they can't get the offensive coordinator right. And maybe part of the problem with this whole thing is this arranged marriage of forcing Shane Waldron to have Chris Morgan, our offensive line coach from the last regime, because he was forced to absorb Chris Morgan. Like, if you guys ever heard of that, is that real? Like, yeah, you can come in, you can be our offensive coordinator, but we're gonna be retaining our offensive line coach from the last regime. So maybe that's part of the problem. But like, Bears 395 yards, 2 takeaways, 26 first downs to 15, 10 more minutes of time of possession, and lose the game. And that's what happens. And so now we are at the bottom of the division, 2 games back from Minnesota, who is looking like the real deal, unfortunately. And it's a frustrating one. It's an annoying one. It's a loss that bothers me a lot. But to be fair, there's some there's some positives. I think Caleb is developing. Caleb is improving. I think Roma Dunze coming alive looked really, really good. Thought Cole Kmet was actually being utilized, in the passing game today for once, which was nice. So it's on to LA, and we'll go from there. But we will we'll see. I'm waiting for the press conference to start because I want to see what Eberflus is going to say. I want them to ask him tough questions for once. I want them to ask him about what the hell happened after the touchdown and how they weren't ready for that. But we'll see if that actually happens, because our media usually asks soft questions. It's something. Curious on Caleb's stats so far. He had an 80.8 rating today, so that's pretty good. 63 completion percentage, 63.5. But what have we seen through the 3 games? Week 1, 48% completion percentage, 93 passing yards, 55.7 rating. Week 2, 62% completion percentage, 174 yards passing, 0 touchdowns, 2 picks, 51 rating. The picks killed him, but he had 14% higher completion percentage and he doubled his yards. And then this week, 63% completion percentage, 64%, 363 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, 80.8 rating. So the kid's improving. Game by game by game, he's improving. So I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned at all with Caleb. It's my biggest concern is with Shane Waldron. I need him to wake up. Caleb is not the problem. I'm telling you guys, Caleb is not the problem. I promise you. He is not the problem. Waiting for this press conference to start. I was curious. I was looking at Fields' stats game by game last year. Fields didn't throw for 363 yards. Fields didn't throw for 363 yards once while in Chicago. So that's something. That is worth something. Caleb is not the problem. I need to watch the highlights back. Let's, while we wait for this to we wait for this press conference to start, I'm going to pull up the game highlights. So I want to watch, I do this every single week. I watch stuff back to see, before the film kind of comes out, what I'm seeing. And it's like finally, getting Deshaun Johnson the ball. This is like the toughest type of stuff. Like, we've seen this be hit. This is the exact play that we saw against Cincy in the preseason. Roll out to the left, on the run, dropping a bucket for Rome. And it didn't happen there. We've seen that be hit. That stuff happens, that hits. Guy missed throws. And okay, I saw some guys ripping on Cairo online on Twitter. And if you're not following me on Twitter, please do at Shy Sports Alex. I tweet every single day about football, sports, tweet during the games all the time. But Cairo, one of the most accurate, consistent kickers in the league, but the leg strength is one of his weaknesses. And we've known that since he's been here. But we need, inside, we need to be able to hit a 56-yarder. We need that. I thought the defense looked really, really solid.
Third and 10. Richardson taking a deep shot down the field. Pierce is there at the 10 and down to the.
I don't really care too much for the defense. I mean, this was a terrible pick by Richardson. Like what is bro doing?
Terrible mistake by Richardson, and the ball was tipped.
This is what we need to see more of. We need more play action under center. Oh, all right, here we go.
Okay, in terms of the game, disappointed in the loss. I thought we had some really good opportunities out there to win the game. I was proud of the way the guys fought throughout the entire game. And my message to them in the locker room afterward was just this. It was missed opportunities. We had opportunities to win that game. The first thing we have to do is honor the football. We got to honor the ball. That's the most important thing in winning. And we have to do a good job. And then once we do get takeaways, we got to score off those opportunities. And that was the difference in the game to me. They scored on those opportunities, and we did not. And so that's important that we do that going forward.
Yeah.
I was pleased with a lot of good things in terms of the distribution of the ball. I thought Caleb threw the ball and got it to a lot of different receivers today. I thought we were committed to the run, more committed to the run. I know those last two drives we were down by 2 scores, so we needed to get it going there. So we were in 2-minute mode. So that I was proud of the way the defense fought. The defense fought through the game. Had a couple of nice takeaways.
Defense is keeping them in it every single week.
Changes. Had a nice turnover in the red zone down there to stop a score. I was proud of that for those guys as well. But overall, it's just got to be better. We got to do a better job as a team, honoring the football, and
what about as a coaching staff?
Playing better. So again, my hats off to the Colts. They won the game, and we left one out there today.
On 4th and goal from the 1, what were your thoughts on the option call there?
Yeah, so we go to Herbert up the middle. We had the Wildcat play on the first one. They ran a couple dive plays in there and got it to inside the 1, just inside the 1 there. And they were in big people, and we like to play. We like to play. We just got to get to the second level, get to the linebacker there, zone up to him, and get him there on that.
Play sucks.
Pitch off the end man, a line of scrimmage, and we got to execute better.
Guys in the locker room, so the look wasn't ideal from what the Colts showed you defensively. What was your impression?
Yeah. I don't know that. I don't know that because I got to look at the tape. But I know the design of the play was to go against that personnel group.
Time out there after that first touchdown with the field goal, taking the team on, sent out the 2-point.
Yeah.
What was the timeout about there?
Yeah, I mean, we have to be better. We have to be better there. First of all, it wasn't as good as it should be in terms of our communication there. But we wanted to get a good play on there as well, and we like to play. It just didn't work out on that particular one. But again, we have to be better. Stay ahead of it better, be better there.
When you say communication, you mean from the coaching standpoint, from the player standpoint?
No, that's on the coaches. On the coaches, we got to be better there from the top to the bottom. From upstairs down to the bottom. So we got to do a better job there.
And the timeout right before the Taylor touchdown, was that just giving you guys a breather? Or was it something you didn't like out there?
No, I'm just conserving time. There. They're going to try to milk as much time as they can, and I was just conserving time there to give us a chance. And at the end of the day, we did have a chance. I thought we did a really good job of scoring on 4th and 1 down there before the 2-minute, because we were going to be onside if it got inside the 2-minute. But then we switched our mind and went to kick it deep. We kicked it deep, and they took a knee. So now we got 2:01, and we got a timeout. And if we do a good job
but you didn't stop
defense,
them.
Which we first it was 2nd and 6, which is not ideal. And then they ran the power, the bounce play, and JT got outside on us. So we just got to execute better on defense. But if we went 3 and out there, we'd have had 50-some seconds there with the ball coming back. And not, it's not on the onside part. We kicked it deep, so we'd have a better.
I agree with the choice.
So we felt
I agree with the
right
decision
in terms of that
to kick it deep.
Just got to get the ball back for the offense.
Did you want Cairo to put it through the back of the end zone there, ideally?
We wanted him to kick it in the end zone, kick it as far as he can. That was the plan there, and he did a good job.
Caleb threw over 50 passes today. Last week there were about as many fast plays called. Is that the plan in terms of a successful idea for what you guys want to get done, or is that just game flow?
Yeah, it's a little bit game flow. I mean, we ended up having 28 runs. Is that right? something like that. I believe it was 28. Is that right?
53 passes,
Yeah,
28 runs against
so
the
you
worst
get it up
rushing
there,
defense in the league.
close to 30. That's a pretty good snip right there. So again, we want to do a better job efficiently running the football, and that starts with not taking negative plays. But again, I think we're more committed to it today. And if we didn't have those 2-minute drives at the end, I think we would have been more committed to it in terms of getting it done at the end.
The personnel group was in the run game. A lot of runs out of 11, some passes out of 13. Is that, just trying to stay ahead of what you think the defense is going to do?
Yeah, that's all by design. What we think they're going to do in terms of their scheme. A lot of times people get in base, and we got better matchups that we need, in terms of 13 personnel. But again, we got to execute better on offense, on defense, and kicking game. We had the one offsides, that led to a touchdown there. On the
That really hurt them.
Less than 5, so they tried the old, head bob and all that, and they got us on it. And so we have to do a better job there.
Matt, what do you sense is inhibiting the efficiency of the running game right now?
Yeah, I just really think it's about fundamentals, right? Fundamentals, I think we're committed to it. I thought we run the ball really good on the inside and the outside in terms of play selection, which I think you need to do. You really got to stretch the defense inside.
I disagree.
That way.
I disagree.
I do feel, though, on the outside plays that we got to block the perimeter better. It seemed like we got to look at the tape there and see where we have to get that perimeter blocking done better, because it looked like there were some guys that shook loose.
Man, it's just the third game of the season, but to a lot of Bears fans, this is a discouraging loss. The way you lost. Do you get that? Do you understand that? Why they would think this is more of a big picture thing? For the
yeah, I would say Mark. I would say that look, this is our third game, and there was some positivity to take out of this. We're encouraged. We're encouraged in that locker room. We are encouraged, and we are, we'll have our head moving forward, eyes moving forward. And we're going to get better this week. And to me, there is better production, on the offensive side. There was better production there in terms of who we got the ball to.
There was. I agree.
Just needs to be better.
So saying, guys, there's
areas, on offense,
there's
and in kicking
positive signs.
How is this a step forward for Caleb? He threw for a lot of yards, but your offense still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you saw him operate in 2-minute. The 2-minute drives that he operated in, I thought were really good. And I think that he looked good in those moments to score that touchdown. He got his first 2 touchdowns of his career today. There was a passing, and so there's a lot to build on. But I said that we have to look at each other, look at your individually, look at yourself, and see what you can do better, execution-wise, to get the victory next week.
Both of those touchdowns came with you guys down multiple scores. They're not letting anybody get behind them. You have to be careful that there's not a false positive there. You're able to move against a defense that kind of knew the situation and might allow maybe you guys to be more.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's something to that, Pat. But I also think that you have to operate in 2-minute in this league. So sometimes you're down by a score, sometimes you're down by a field goal. You're still gonna have to move the ball in that situation. And I thought we did a solid job of that today.
And on Caleb's first interception, where he's going to Carter on the side opposite you guys, what's the message to him? I know he makes those out route throws a lot, but was that just what did you say to him after that one? What did you see?
Yeah, that's just a rhythm throw. And I have to go back and look at the tape. I just have it in my mind right now. So it's just a rhythm throw. You got to really feel that corner where he's located at and deliver it on time. And again, I got to go back and look at the tape. But that's what it looked like to me.
Coach 56 is about the edge of Cairo's range. On the one that he missed, played before second and third down, 2 passes. Any consideration of running to kind of get some insurance on that kick in case you had to?
Yeah, I mean, we're always hunting touchdowns. We're in the kick line there. We're always hunting touchdowns. And that we want to get a first down, to go getting closer and score a touchdown. We were aggressive in the beginning of the game. You're always aggressive there. I don't think you're ever hunting field.
My biggest concern with the team right now, though, is this,
that was our mindset.
The lack of cohesion in the first half. They always seem disjointed.
Yeah, it was just, because I know
like they're not ready.
So when you have an issue, you always
and then they dig themselves into a hole.
So if it starts to get really loud, just go to the wristband, and then he can get it out, to the offense, which I thought was good today. So if you don't have a wristband, then you can't go to it when it gets super loud. So I thought it was a good operation in terms of using that. All right.
All right. All right, guys. I'm gonna cut the stream here for now. First stream. Gonna look back, work on ways to kind of smooth it out and make it a better experience. And we will see. I'll see where I can improve. But I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video breaking down the game, and we'll see you in the next live next week when the Bears take on the Rams, Week 4. Bear down as always. Thanks, guys. We'll see you later.